Merry Christmas, Nom.
Merry Christmas, Jeremy.
And you are here to bring us an early present for our listeners. That is the 1988 Die Hard. Why Die Hard?
Well, this will be the year that we're actually going to give them a gift because last year they got a lump of coal.
That's right.
They got nothing. Die Hard, it is the quintessential Christmas movie. One that everyone should understand is a Christmas movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think it encompasses everything that you look for in a Christmas movie. But guys, we're going to bring you Die Hard. Now, Jeremy, you heard that this is a Christmas movie.
Mm-hmm.
Did you really think that this was a Christmas movie?
I think it is a Christmas movie because I kind of looked at it in a different point of view. And I guess I was looking at it as, why was this considered a Christmas movie? And basically, I think any movie that is set during the holidays is a Christmas movie, no matter what the situation is. That's just plain and simple to me. Die Hard is set during Christmas time. It's a Christmas movie. It's just plain and simple. You could argue easily and replace that movie with a different theme, and it'll still be the same movie. It just happens to be at Christmas time. Home Alone. It's about a kid that just ends up being left behind by his family going on a Christmas vacation, and he has to survive and protect the house from burglars. You can move that to a different setting. Doesn't have to be Christmas. Family can still go on vacation. Trading Places, the 1983 film with Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy. Christmas time, about two people switching lives to see how it feels to fit in their shoes. Gremlins, it's about a kid taking care of a little creature that multiplies and makes chaos. It just happens to be Christmas time. Batman Returns. It just happens to be during Christmas time. Those are considered Christmas movies. Why can't Die Hard be a Christmas movie? That's the way I look at it, plain and simple.
I will add on to that. Not only is it set during Christmas, but I think the themes of Christmas fall into this movie. Besides the Christmas music, the Christmas spirit, you also have to remember it's a guy who is going back home to visit family during the Christmas times. And not only is he trying to spread Christmas cheer, something happens, something bad happens, something gets in the way. And of course, here we're talking about a bunch of terrorists, but it doesn't really matter if it's a bunch of terrorists or you don't get your bonus or you have a really bad setup putting up Christmas decorations and blowing up the house. If your family left you and you're home by yourself and there's two robbers trying to come in, there's always a setup to where there is a problem or an issue. And it requires a Christmas miracle for everything to work out. Granted, yes, this one took a little bit longer and it was bloody and a lot of explosions, but there was a Christmas miracle for it to happen. Then he got to go home and see his family. And everything about this encompasses Christmas, so this is definitely a Christmas movie, in my humble opinion. If you guys feel otherwise, feel free to leave a comment on the YouTube. Jeremy and I, we both agree that this is a Christmas movie. And in the meantime, we're going to go check this out. We'll catch you guys after this break. And we are back. We are back.
Merry Christmas.
For our Christmas episode, the 1988 movie Die Hard. Let me give you guys a rundown of this movie real quick. So this movie released on July 15, 1988. The runtime was 132 minutes. Had a budget of $35 million. It did a box office of 139.8, so $141.5 million.
I'm just kidding. All right, we're done.
And Jeremy's here to bring you the Christmas cheer. All right, so we're going to go into our first segments. Unsolved Mysteries, where we ask questions about this movie and we try to make stories about what's going on to make it make sense to us and to you guys as well. Jeremy, do you have any unsolved mysteries you want to go start off with?
I have one, and sadly enough for the listeners, this is actually probably my one and only, I want to say, main one. Though there's little ones here and there that kind of gets wrapped up with our other questions. So we're at the tower, the company that they're having the Christmas party at. And after McClane makes it off the plane, we see him in a limo being taken there and being dropped off and heading up to the party. The limo driver said that, hey, if it doesn't work out for him and his wife, I'll be down in the car garage. Just hit me up. I'll pick you up. I'll take you to a hotel, whatever. He stays down there. Then later on, of course, with the story, we have our antagonists, the terrorist group that comes and take over the building. And as they're taking over the main first floor, you know, with security and everything. And then we're seeing them go down to the car garage to hit the back door to kind of get everything set up to take over this building. I couldn't figure out where everybody at the party parked their car. It just kind of dumbfounded me because when you see the scene at the beginning, you don't see any cars. And I was like, okay, makes sense. Maybe those are just guests people that come in to do business or something. They get the floor. So you go down. The limo driver parks randomly in an empty spot. I'm like, okay, fine. Maybe this is a different side of the car garage. Then we're seeing this giant truck go through this car garage to get to this back elevator. Now I'm confused. Like, is there more than one car garage I'm confused about? Because I feel like that's unnecessary to have like two car garages, one for guests and one for whatever. So I just want to know where all the employees park their cars at. That just kind of confused me.
This is a very fair statement. You know, the thing about this is that everyone at the party are grown adults. Takagi is apparently very, very wealthy. And he flew everyone in.
Okay, that's a good answer. That's a good answer. Yeah, but then where did the helicopter go? Was it just a drop-off?
Yeah, the helicopter.
Who does a drop-off?
To go pick up others.
Now, what kind of Now, wait. Now, what kind of helicopter are we talking about? Because there's about, give or take, about 40 people at this party, maybe more.
Yeah.
What kind of helicopter are we talking about? Are we talking about one of those, like, medical hospital kind of helicopters? Because I don't think they can afford that.
You have to have multiple people jump onto the helicopter.
Like hanging on?
No. I'm thinking only like 4 or 5 people at a time. So like 10 trips.
I don't know about that. Maybe 4 if you're including the helicopter guy. That's probably 5. That's a lot of rotation. But here's the thing, though: are they picking them up from their homes?
Yeah, they're gonna do the whole Peter Griffin thing, right? where they're literally just gonna land in their front yard, even though there's gonna be absolutely no room to do so or anything. But they're just gonna land in their front yards, and then they're gonna pick up some of the guys, and then they're gonna get dropped off at the building. What
about the limo driver? Couldn't the limo driver be part of this? Couldn't he be the one picking up everybody? I mean, yes, he was aiming for McClane, but like maybe he was the one picking up everybody too. Because you could fit more people in a limo.
You could fit more people in a limo. The only problem would be is there would be multiple limos, right? There wouldn't just.
We don't know that.
Right?
Wait, because when McClane got there, they're already at the party, so we don't know how many trips he did take.
But
even if there's multiple, okay, we got the new guy. His goal is to pick up McClane. Oh, the other limo driver did their job. God, I'm sorry. Is it Tagashi or am I saying that right? I apologize. Takagi. Maybe he's the one that got everybody at the party in some way. Not a helicopter, but maybe like a limo to pick up everybody. Then his wife, which she changed her name for some reason, to go pick up McClane. That's my only answer to that.
It was helicopters, not limos, whatever.
It's limos, hands down. It is not helicopters, but you have it your way. I think helicopters would sound cooler, but that's a waste of more time than getting a limo. And you know this.
I would guess it's a very expensive building, but is there certain floors that are only like bulletproof glass protected for just in case things were to happen?
13th floor.
Soundproof like floors, soundproof walls, bulletproof
13th glass. Floor.
Because the scene where Takagi gets shot, I'm going to tell you what, Hans Gruber on this line was amazing.
I'm going to count to 3. There will not be a fall. Give me the code.
He did what he said.
It shows you how ruthless he was.
Mm-hmm.
He shot him in the head. I mean, someone took a bucket and just splattered the window behind him. Of course, McClane saw this and he was just like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think his head stopped the bullet. I think the bullet would have went straight through and shattered the glass, but it didn't.
So, do we know exactly the angle of where he got shot?
Oh, is this where I put the JFK thing? Where it's like...
This is the key shot. The president going back and to his left.
Back into the...
It could be. It could be. Because we saw him shoot it, and then we just saw splatter at the door. We don't know exactly how it was seated in there, right? We don't know the layout of how it was seated in there. So, I couldn't tell you.
Well, he was facing the door. Or he wasn't facing the door, but his back was to the door.
The back was to the door.
Yeah.
Okay. So is it a possibility that the bullet might have swayed a little bit after it went through his head, because his head is so big, when the bullet came out, it kind of just weed a little bit, but the blood still splattered forward?
This is the magic bullet idea, guys.
Back and to the left. Back and to the left.
It's back and to the left. He fell back into the left.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, that's not only the blood in the bulletproof glass. I was asking whether or not it was soundproof, too, as well, because there were moments where McClane and the terrorists were fighting on the 32nd floor, and they were on the 30th floor. And they were shooting off, like, Uzis, and just bullets were going everywhere. And nobody decided to help the guy that was getting killed. The one terrorist that was getting killed. And I know he went up there with a handful of people.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no disturbance when it came to the people on the 30th floor. And granted, at the time, they probably could have been partying and music was going. But the thing was is that was when Hans had already interrupted everything and everybody was dead silent. So you would think that you would hear rumblings of bullets echoing or something 2 floors up.
I would even argue the fact that, if I'm 100% wrong here, please correct me, but did they even feel the effect of the C4 blowing up?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. Not inside the building, no.
Okay. Because that's the one that's really important, right? Because if they couldn't hear that, then that answers your question right there. They messed up. Because then it's like, then it is soundproof, or it's select hearing proof.
Select hearing. This building was built by a man, so they only selected what they wanted to hear.
Certain windows were bulletproof, some were not.
If that was selected hearing proof, then that means all the women should have heard like everything that was going on.
That's true. That's 100% true. I don't know what to tell you.
The guy should be like, "What's going on, guys?"
Yeah. If we have to think about it, honestly, only the office of Takagi's room would be bulletproof to me, and everything else would not be.
Right? I would think so too, and I think you would hear that stuff, but I could be wrong. Obviously, the glass isn't bulletproof, truly speaking, because when McClane jumps off the building and is tied to the water hose, which I don't know what he was thinking. He goes feet first into the glass thinking that he was going to break the glass, but he didn't have the momentum to break the glass. He kicked it a couple times.
So
then he pulled out a gun and shot.
So here's the thing, though. Okay, I will defend this. Okay, I will defend it because it's in the heat of the moment. The goal was to get off the roof. Any shape, how I will deal with what happens next. I need to get off of this. That's all I'll defend on that, because I would have probably done it too. I'm like, heck, it's either do this dumb idea and hope I live, or maybe no, it's right. I should not do this and just blow up.
No, I'm absolutely fine that he jumped off the building trying to survive. The thing was is that he was trying to break through the glass with just his feet.
Okay, and my other defense of that,
shooting the glass like later.
Okay, my defense of that is due to the tip that he got from the air right here. If you fist your toes on the floor, then you should be able to break that glass.
It didn't work, Jeremy.
He didn't do it long enough.
Do you think he's going to go back and kill that guy for telling him that he
Yes.
needed to fist
That's how we get Die Hard 2. Because Die Hard 2 is in an airport. He will be back.
Stay tuned to our next Christmas episode as we review Die Hard 2.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. All right.
No, it doesn't.
The other thing that I'll say that right after this action was going on, the part where the machine guns were going off and they didn't hear them 2 floors down, McClane ends up killing the guy, which, I mean, he could have killed him way earlier. So he milked that kill because he could have just caught him and just shot the dude.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't. No one heard. None of the terrorists heard that anything was going on 2 floors down, which is fine. So he still has the art of surprise, which is probably the one thing that you hear everyone talks about as far as strategy is concerned. Not only does he have the art of surprise, he has the high ground.
Mm-hmm.
So all he has to do is go on the walkie and be like, Hans, I got the high ground. It's over.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
You underestimate my power!
Don't try it! High ground!
He ends up killing the guy. He sends the guy's dead body down. Says, hey, I got a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho. Why would you break the possibility of surprising and slowly killing everybody one by one with an act of just because he wanted to?
Bruce Willis pulled off a fire alarm to get the police to come. After the police somehow, turned around after getting one call, like, we're fine. That guy goes down to check. Would he still have the surprise? Because if they don't hear from that guy, clearly another person's going to go down there and check it out.
Yeah,
maybe he just got it out of the way.
But you still have a lot more time if they don't hear from that guy, because
true.
There's times whenever like you and I will lose somebody, like, I don't know, Chin, and we'll be like, yo, where's Chin? Or yo, where's Brendan? When was the last time you saw him? 2 hours ago. Like, you lose track of time, especially when you're going through the motions. So I think that would have at least bought him 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, I'll give you that, because the lack of even trying to look at security cameras to find him, which they did like maybe once, it just didn't work out for them. So yeah.
And really, that area that he was at was under construction, though, right?
Then he's cocky.
It wouldn't really had security cameras going on in there anyway.
Maybe he's like, I think he's cocky, and maybe he thought maybe with everybody focusing on him, they're not focusing on the hostage, which still not a good idea, because you can risk the hostages, because they could have just threatened to kill everybody if he didn't give himself up, but then we wouldn't have a movie.
Yeah, he wouldn't kill the hostages because of the one guy anyway, just because the hostages would be what he would have to use for the FBI and the police if that were to happen.
Right.
And eventually it does. But if that were to happen, and as far as the fire alarm going off, like, that could just be one of those random freak accidents that happen anyways.
True. I guess if they ignored it. But if one guy goes and never came back, that's more suspicious. I think it was damn if you do, damn if you don't. But at least he gets an extra hour of maybe trying to get somebody else.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's got some time to go ahead and take out some other people,
So because it ended at the full story of this is he's going to get found out. The goal was, how long can he go without being found out? That was the goal, right? And I guess he didn't. He just wanted to get it out of the way. So he's like, here I am.
So here's an interesting one. This one kind of boggled me a little bit. So when Hans Gruber and the gang decided to come in and take over the building, there was a part where, if I'm not mistaken, it was the guy that ended up dying. But before he died...
He was the first guy. Yes, he was.
Yeah, before the first guy died, he had to cut some wires to disable something. But his brother shows up and takes a chainsaw and just cuts the pipes. That made him go faster to cut these wires. What exactly was he doing, and what would have happened if he didn't cut them in time?
So we know that cutting the pipes or whatever device he had disconnected connection with phones, right?
Okay.
Because during that conversation, it was the limo driver and McClane. Because McClane was talking to him about, hey, I don't think it's going to work out. Because remember, McClane and his wife had this argument about the last name being changed. And then she had to go do a speech. They had their conversation and they got cut off. And the limo driver just like, you know my number.
What I think is that the younger brother should have just let his brother cut everything with the chainsaw. Because while he's doing that, the younger brother needs to just look up at him and just be like this. And once he gets done cutting it, it blows up on him. Not hit the younger brother, but on the older brother. The older brother hits the wall and falls onto the ground and is like incapacitated for a little bit. And the younger brother does a step over. What did we learn?
What did we learn?
Or the dude is just incapacitated. He wakes up. The little brother gets like a handful of the other gang members and they lean over him like,
You have been weighed.
You have been measured.
And you absolutely
Have been found wanting. Welcome to the new world. God save you.
I think the little brother should have had a little bit of fun with it, man, because in the end, little brother ended up dying, which is unfortunate. I mean, they both ended up dying, but the older brother ended up doing a lot more damage later on. It's okay, because we did get the CV radios, and let me tell you something. That lady, police officer that was on the other side that was listening to him on the CV radio when McClane decided to phone in, and was just belligerent. She was like, yo, it's Christmas. I'm honey badgering this one. Yo, dude, quit playing pranks. We done. But this dude sounded like he about to die. he upset, sounding like he about to die. And she gave him the cold shoulder like he cheated on her, man.
I was a little
What was her story? What's her story? Why do you think she was that way?
Because she believes that no one else should know that frequency. So anybody that knows that frequency has to be a prankster.
You think so?
Mm-hmm. And that's why she was irritated.
So the way I feel is that she's upset because someone just broke her heart because it's Christmas. Someone just broke her heart. Then she got scheduled to work even though she asked for time off. And they were like, nah, you got to work. Mm-hmm. And she was like, all right, well, I'll just do my shift. And they're like, no, you got to work overnights. And she's like, dude, it's Christmas. Ain't nobody going to be out overnights. And they're like, no, you need to work overnights. She just had her heart broken and she's just upset with the world. So the fact that she heard this dude go over things, she's just like, I ain't care, man. Probably what it was is that he sounded like the guy that she was with, she really liked. And like,
is that what it is?
Who broke her heart, and she was just, I hope you die. So she got back on to him. She was just like, hey, being PC about it. This is a frequency. Please, you can't be using this. And he was just like, does it sound like I'm ordering a pizza, you ugly bitch? Of course, he didn't say that part, but
you're paraphrasing. You're paraphrasing.
And she was just, well, you ain't talking to me like that. And she just let it go. Of course, there was witnesses, right? There was witnesses to this. Mm-hmm. So she had to go, hey, can I have someone go check this out? She knows because she wants to keep her job. Yeah. Regardless of how crappy her life is, how grinchy she felt, her heart finally grew. And she was like, all right, maybe something's going on, whatever. But I think that's her story, man.
She's a terrible person.
I agree, 110%.
She's a terrible person.
She is a terrible person.
Yeah. Because I think that also on top of that, I bet she was upset because of the fire alarm thing. Like, all the policemen came and she heard the story about it, and then she hears another frequency from that building again. She's like, come on. What's not going on over there? Why are you guys on this? No.
Y'all wasting your time. You know what? I don't even care.
Right.
But since we're talking about impracticalities, talk about this impracticality. Somehow on Christmas Eve, the news, the media, which is the worst, even the 1988 media is just absolutely horrible. They were able to get a hostage specialist on the show. So in your mind, tell me, how did the news contact this dude and get him there?
Let me ask you this first. Sir. How many hours do you think this scenario was going on with the whole, terrorist thing? Because in my mind, it only been about maybe 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe 3 or 4 hours tops when you found out.
So are you telling me that you think it's not possible to get somebody in 3 or 4 hours? Actually, take it back 2 hours, because yes, they were in three or 4, but the news people probably didn't pick it up until about a couple hours after, right? So in 2 hours, probably, just guessing here, that they get him on there. That's tough. We don't know where he was. He could have been close by. He could have been there as a guest anyways, just in case a lucky day, But it is not practical to believe that he would come down to the station for that. It made more sense to have him, either the news people go to him and they talk to him about it through, the phone or, 2 different camera shots of the conversation. But him coming down there, that's hard to sell. Is it impossible? I don't know. I don't want to say it's impossible. It's just a hard sell due to the time limit that they had. From the news guy getting the report, driving down there, waiting for something to come along, get more information, and then go to McClane's house for the kids.
Eventually, yes.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. That's a tough.
So that's what I was saying. So what's the story? How is this even possible? Because I mean, in 2021, here and now, it would be simple because he would just get on a camera. They would give him a phone call or a text message. They would call multiple people, a phone call and a text message, see if they'd get on webcam, do a webcam connection, and go from there. But obviously, that's not the same here.
He called them. And said, yeah. The moment that they found a hostage, he called them. And he's like, hey, I'm your man. Let me come down there. Okay?
He got nothing better to do on Christmas?
Nope. Apparently not. Kids are out of town. They're in college or whatever. They couldn't come home. His wife was asleep. He read every damn book in his house. He's bored. He saw that on the news. He's like, I'm going. He gets in his Mercedes. He drives all the way down there, which probably took him about 10 minutes because luckily he just lives right around the corner. He goes up there. They said, wait a minute, we might not be a hostage situation. They waited. They said it was. Come on. How long do I have? 10 minutes. Because that's how long it felt like him on there. 10 minutes. And by the way, did he even say anything useful?
Oh, no.
No, nothing to move the narrative of what they are thinking. It's a bunch of terrorists that are actually thieves, but they get portrayed as terrorists because the world set it up for them like that. That guy wasted my time, your time, and everybody's time coming down to the station.
Ladies and gentlemen, in 2021, this is who we call a clout chaser.
Clout chaser. Yeah.
All right, man. So here's my final unsolved mystery. Al gets introduced to a dead body on his police car.
Okay.
Through a window from John McClane. How did he do it? How did he get the dude? I mean, the dude's probably weighed like 200 pounds. It's probably either dead or very unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
He had to get him through the window and onto the car with precision accuracy from at least 20 stories up? No, it had to be 30 stories up, right? 30 stories up.
It's high enough. It's high enough, really.
At least 30 stories up. Precision accuracy. He would have to get the body to actually throw it out there, and then he would have to actually throw it out there. So, Jeremy, run through how you think he did it.
Okay, so the way he looked at it was, if you go back to the scene, is the same exact gap that the shot was going through, right? So he was thinking about to do it, and then he realized that, wait a minute, these are sliding windows. So he went to the next window, slide it, threw it out the window, and closed it.
He did the Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
And that proves that this entire thing is soundproof.
Yes.
There's only one flaw in that theory, though.
What?
He was looking through the hole. McClane was looking through the hole in which he threw the dead.
Or is that what we want to think? We're watching him. So we're looking through him through that hole, not the other way around.
So you think he actually slid the door and picked up this body and threw it out that way?
How else does that make sense to you?
See,
is there a door? Did I not? I didn't see a door. That's my second one. He found a door, opened it, and threw it. But apparently, he's in the heat of the moment. The mindset is throw it through the window. But that hole is small. Sliding door.
Here's what I think. John McClane is from the future. He saw Batman Forever, the 1995 movie. And the scene that he saw was the scene where Nigma, the dude, gets put onto a rolling chair and then just pushed really hard, and then he just flew out. That's how he had the momentum and the strength to actually move the guy, because there's no way that he could have just carried the guy. And he flew out the window and he landed perfect on Al's car.
Riddle me this. Does that make sense to you?
The other thing is that he's a washed up quarterback. Wait, that's another movie. Here's the funny thing, right? It had to be the dead body, but if you were in that situation, would you have just thrown the office chair or something out there? Like anything would have recognized, anything would have caught his eye.
Automatically, from watching this movie again, that's the first thing I thought, because that's the first thing he was looking at. He was looking at a table and a chair. Your mindset is going to be one or the other, and it's going to be a chair, because there's no way you can carry a whole table out there.
Yeah.
And then a body? Okay. Why not?
I mean, the body emphasizes the fact that there is a lot of trouble going on. There's some stuff that's happening in this building that we need help with, right?
Yeah.
But if you were just trying to get his attention, a chair or something would just be as effective.
Anything that gets thrown out a window is going to be a sign of, I need to investigate this situation more, no matter what it is. You could throw it could be a chair. It could have been a computer. It could be anything that's been thrown that high up. It's going to yell, look at me. Something's going on. Because why? Because no one just throws random things out of a window.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
I agree, man. Let's go to our award. Sound good?
Awards.
So
Merry
the
Christmas.
award for this movie is the Let's Hug It Out, bitch.
Hug It
Ari Gold Award.
You're right. Ah! I'm kidding. Don't fucking mention that review again, all right?
Not.
You want to hug it out?
No, not really.
Let's hug it out, bitch.
And the reason why I named it this award is because you cannot take Ari Gold from Entourage, because he is Entourage. And that's what this award is for. The person in this movie that is completely irreplaceable, that you cannot replace with any other actor, any other person, and it not completely change this movie. Here are my three choices. The first nominee is the man himself, Mr. John McClane, Bruce Willis. Really hard to replace in this role. Second choice, Hans Gruber, Alan Rickman. The third nominee is Reginald Vell Johnson. He is Al, the cop.
Okay.
Those are my three actors. Those are my three choices,
Okay.
nominees. Jeremy, who do you think is the most irreplaceable in the movie?
So I'm going to challenge you.
Okay.
I think it's Alan Rickman. I think
Okay.
he's the one that can be that can't be changed. I disagree that Bruce Willis is not the only one that can play that part. I think he did it well, but I could think of someone else that can replace him for that. Alan Rickman, he did a good job. I'll give you an actor. I have an actor in mind for Bruce Willis part. But Alan Rickman, he was tough because he just had that aura about him, that suaveness that just really fit that role really well. He sold his character because as I say, a villain has to work harder than the hero to sell you. So if he does a good job, it's hard to replace that villain. If he works that hard to push the main person to go after him. So that's why I say that. Bruce Willis, yes, everyday man, not the strongest person. I get it. He does the job well, but his role is basically, I'm just having a bad day. I could put Kurt Russell in that spot. Ever since Little Trouble in China, his personality, I can kind of see that with him doing this role too. Now, that can be up for a disagreement, of course. People down below can leave a comment down below for it. But we're talking about someone else that kind of has that vibe. Like Bruce Willis, Kurt Russell, to me, can fit that vibe too in that aspect. Okay. As for the cop, good for him. But I think anybody could do that part. But good for him for what happened to him further on. You can get someone else to play that part. As long as he's a good actor. But he doesn't do anything where it's like, that's him. That is him. Because you learned about his backstory, why he can't use a gun, but anybody can come with that story with any person that plays that role. But he didn't do anything heroic or do anything. Well, heroic is a misleading thing. He didn't do anything to stand out to me of, only he did this. He just didn't for me. So that's I guess my answer to that is Gruber as Alan Rickman. I think he's the one that definitely irreplaceable because villains are very hard to pull off and they're very hard to replace if they pull it off. So that's me.
The Kurt Russell thing I can kind of see, but I would tend to disagree on it. But I do see your point in that. I will also go with Alan Rickman too as well. Alan Rickman's portrayal of Hans Gruber. I think there have been many tries. People have tried to imitate Hans Gruber in different movies, and they've horribly failed.
It said Jeremy Irons. Good brother. Good follow-up, brother. That's it.
Good follow-up.
Good follow-up. Good follow-up. Not exactly him, but good follow-up to carrying the legacy that made us forget Die Hard 2.
Yeah, we forgot about that.
Right?
But I'm with you 110%. I think the way that Alan Rickman brought Hans Gruber, and especially knowing Alan Rickman more for his later movies, for me, before I saw Die Hard, to see him do Die Hard, I see why people liked him so much in the other movies like Dogma and
Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm. Like, he's always been a great actor to me, but here I just, knowing that this was his first major role, gets insane. Mm-hmm. And I don't think anyone could have done it better. What brings us to our very last segment, the Rotten Tomatoes segment, where you and us get to figure out where we lean more towards the critics or we lean with everyone else, like the audience. In this movie, at a 79 reviews, the critics gave it a 94%. The audience, at a 250,000 reviews, gave it a 94%. Now, as of this recording, things could change. I highly doubt that. We'll see. Jeremy, which way do you lean, the critics or the audience?
Which one had the higher score, the critics?
Yes, the critics and the audience.
No.
94 each.
Oh, 94 no matter what?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. The audience? I'll go with the audience.
Jeremy leans toward the audience. All right, why?
I go on. Okay, I guess for the critics, you're there to critique it, I guess, in that aspect. And you're looking really hard to find the flaws and stuff. As an audience member, I watch this as an audience of like, this was a fun movie. I honestly, that's the weakest answer I can give you right now. It's a good movie, regardless. Like, there's rarely anything I can say bad about this movie. So
I'm with you too. I'm gonna go with the critics because I got to stick up my ass.
Okay.
I'm going to be the critics this time around, and Jeremy's going to be the audience. It doesn't matter. It's one more for the good guys.
There you go. Yeah. Yep.
Good movie. I think it was pretty much everything that you could ask. A good action movie, great villain.
Mm-hmm. Simple. Simple.
Yeah, I think it was very simple, and I think it was well shot.
And surprisingly enough, before we wrap this up, this was a movie where it passed your 1:30 clock time that you prefer, and you still enjoy it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a two-hour movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 2-hour movie, but it was very, very entertaining from start to finish. We are a part of the In-Game Boss program here on the YouTube. If you like our stuff, please hit that like and the subscribe for the algorithm. Help us spread the love out there for everyone.
It's
Hit
Christmas.
the notification bell so that anything that Jeremy drops, you guys will get a chance to see all his other great gaming shows out there. And with that, yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers. Merry Christmas to you guys, and I hope you have a happy new year. We will see you guys next year on our first episode that Jeremy will lead. Take care. Merry Christmas again. We'll see you. 2 points. Boom.